So fortunately, if they were receptive about it.
It's actually 5 o'clock.
It's actually 5 o'clock now. So I think what we better do is have a couple of minutes from you, Rebecca, if you don't mind, and then a few questions maybe for about 5 to 10 minutes until 10 past 5, and wrap things up at 5:15, if that's all right. And that should still give you 45 minutes before the reception to get ready. Rebecca, okay, where do you see entry points for women to get involved in peace building in Myanmar? Do you want to talk specifically? Should we talk specifically about conflict areas like Karen? You're from Karen, and Kachin, maybe.
Recently, I've been to some of the conflict areas also, and also I talked to the wives of the commanders from the military, government military, and then both sides, I think they want peace because they always worried about their families, their husband, and all that. So they have some common ground. So usually the entry point is like we said before, like education, like health, but surprisingly, in one of the IDPs, the internally displaced area, and when we asked them what they want us to do for them, then they just said that make the peace process to be successful, make the ceasefire agreement not to be derailed and like that. But obviously, they have many physical needs, but they don't ask for that, but they just ask for peace. So I think that is but in different areas, then you hear different things. Like in the refugees camp, then maybe they are very deeply traumatized during their stay in their villages, so they still have to take time to heal their trauma, and then like peace, it's not it's very difficult to. There's no way, actually, no ways to peace. Whenever we talk about peace, then there are diversion in opinions, divisions in opinions, and then the community is more divided. But I think there's.
Do you think it's because they're not ready yet? Because it's kind of still new.
But peace is the way. Actually, peace is not the end, but it's the means to live peacefully. I think that's why like peace education. Yeah, it's very important. So peace education and nurturing.
Specifically, do you do the same kind of thing that Ashma was talking about with identifying women who could be trainers themselves and create a network? Is that something that, I mean, I don't know whether Myanmar Peace Center itself, but there are lots of other NGOs.
Yes.
Is that something that happens?
Right now we have 40 women's group, and then they organize themselves into a network called the Women's Organizations Network, WORN. So they have a larger, choirs because of being together. So it's on the way, but still have a lot to work on.
What about the men? What are the men about? You said that you're the only one at your level. Do they think do they take you seriously? I mean, this is one of the things that we're talking about. Because it's also new in Burma. It's,
So I think compared to in the past, then they have more awareness on the gender issues. They are more aware of the importance of women participation. They, even in their speech, maybe it is more, maybe it's something cosmetic, but at the same time, at least they start talking about that. And then also I think many words that are very sensitive before, like in the government, like federalism, then at first then there is no federalism, is a separation. So now they accept the word federalism, they are talking about it, and have some forum and workshop on that. So I think the change is gradually taking place, and as for us who are staying in the country for a long time, then we see it as a very opportunity, the start of opportunity.
Yeah, it feels like something might be possible. All right, should we take 5 minutes to get some comments or questions from the floor? Can I ask who's interested in saying something? I know we're right at the end of the day, but there were some interesting comments there. I don't know how relevant they are to you or to what extent they resonated. in your contexts? It looks like people want to move on. They would like to move on. Oh, wait. Sri Lanka. Yes, please, please. Do you need that? You can have this.
I can try now.
Yes. Thank you.
I would like to just add like 3 challenges into the kind of women work in peace building. The first one is that I think we as a community has not been successful yet in articulating the larger good, the larger benefit in, like creating a role for women in peace building. So we actually are still lacking, and we say it's important that women involve in peace building, but we are not saying what are the larger common good for the country and the world of women involving in peace. I think we need to get out of that our own, kind of the below perception, and we need to move on in that direction. And there are quite a lot to contribute if we move on there. The second, I think another challenge we are still lacking is the more people versus key people approach. That's a challenge and a weakness commonly in the peace building community, but more so in the women peace building community. So, most of the time we often try to work with more people, more women, more people, than working with strategic key people who can make a bigger difference in what we wanted to. Right? So that's kind of a second challenge. And the third challenge is the kind of the impact of our work. Because obviously we are pushed to work on the vertical level, because we want to work deeper, but looking at the kind of the populations in most of our countries, I think we need to get into more kind of new strategies and methodologies using media, using new media, technology, to also get into the horizontal level if we want to make a bigger impact in terms of the kind of work we do. And finally, very briefly, your question about methodology, develop methodologies working with children and peace building, I'll be quite happy to share with you. We as an organization, we do quite a lot of work, we have a lot of training materials developed and so on, so we'll be happy to share with you.
Wonderful, thank you. That seems like a very constructive point at which to kind of celebrate the end of the day and the network that has so much potential from what I have seen. Do we have time for another question? Okay, did you want to? Yes. Sorry, I thought that I didn't realize there was another question.
Similar to what you raised.
Yeah.
I was wondering, the discussion focused very much on strategies, but I was wondering if, if all of you can actually make mention of an impact, that was made out of those strategies, because it's really what we're after, in terms of advancing the women's security agenda. Thank you.
Thanks very much indeed. So I think that let's please give a round of applause to our panelists who really shared from the heart what their experience is. I thought it was very wonderful. Hope you don't mind me pushing you onto the jargon and getting you to be specific about everything that you do. You're heroes. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's the end of the day, actually, so I think that I can introduce our closing remarks. Can I? Is that right? Yes?
Yes.
If I ask you to please, thank you. Did you want to speak? Here. Okay, thank you very much indeed. I hope you all had a great day. I have. Brilliant. I'll bit nodding over there for the United Nations. Okay. Caitlin Bison, whichever, you don't mind. Caitlin Bison is the regional manager of the UNDP Asia Pacific Regional Center. She is going to give the closing remarks for the day. For my part, this is me coming at the end of my extremely satisfactory day. I was not expecting to enjoy it, and to feel so personally fulfilled, I kind of feel guilty that, do you know what I mean, am I supposed to enjoy myself this much when I'm working? am I that much of a geek? but it's lovely to see familiar faces as well. It's really nice to see everyone and to meet new people as well. So Caitlin, we'll draw it to a close, and then at 6 o'clock we have our reception on the 8th floor. Yeah, I think this one's working. Thank you so much. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here with you. This is quite interesting. They have a little step for me to stand up. I usually don't. I'm usually too tall. This is quite interesting. Good afternoon, everyone. It is really my honor and my privilege to be here with you at this closing session for the day. We're not closing this event by any stretch of the imagination, but it's the closing session for today for the N-PEACE Forum on Leadership and the 2013 N-PEACE Awards ceremony. I would also like to thank those who are just up here, our resource people, Durga, Ashima, Rebecca, Rohaniza, for their contributions, and also to Veronica Pedrosa for your brilliant moderation. Thank you so much. First, I would like to extend an apology for not having been here with you this morning. I understand the celebration was fantastic, and the beauty of this award is that we get to meet in person, but we also get to engage in a virtual way. So all the celebration has been captured on video. Your stories are out there, and these will also be shared virtually. So I'm looking forward to engaging with you virtually as well in the celebration. I would like to, right now, just take this opportunity, as I was not here this morning, to congratulate each and every one of those of you who have been nominated as one of the nominated for your the work that you've done at the country level for advancing the issue and your commitment and to leadership and peace in your country. So my congratulations to each and every one of the awardees and to each of you who have won as well this morning. Thank you very much. I think this afternoon's debate and panel discussion really demonstrate the diversity and the rich experience that exists within each of the countries. And I really enjoyed also the debate earlier on about the national action plans at the policy level. Are they a critical tool or not? And I guess for being one of the older dinosaurs using also this new technology of beeping in and beeping out, but I guess the takeaway is that the national action plans are critical tools for accountability in implementing the UN Security Council Resolution 1325 and related resolutions on women, peace, and security. Is it the only tool? No, certainly it's not the only tool. Is it an absolutely critical tool? Absolutely. And I think the numbers fed back on that, but I really enjoyed the richness of the debate. And I think what came out of it for me is that you need to work on both levels. You need to work on the institutional, you need to work on the normative frameworks, you need to work on the frameworks that hold governments to account for actions. And you need to work on the community level, you need to work on mobilization, you need to work on bringing people together. And it's when you have this combination of the two that you really get a dynamic movement in place and you start to see real action and change and shifts on the ground. And I think one of the things we heard today too was how much such plans at national level are really making a difference. And we have within us amongst our partners who are here, we have the Philippines and Nepal have national action plans on 1325. And I think it will be very interesting over the course of the next day, while you still have time, to meet with them and see how that's helped them to also make a difference. I think one of the other takeaways I have from today is while we share so much among each other, we also need to appreciate the complexity and multidimensionality
of each of the conflicts that exist within each of the communities and countries within which all of us here in this room reside. And it's quite clear that there's no cookie cutter approach, there's no one formula, and that we really, all the issues need to be contextualized within each country and to the specificity of the conflict and to the political landscape. And I think one of the beauties is looking at the richness of the debate that have come across. And hopefully within this process of cross-fertilization, you can pull out and call certain gems that you'll be able to bring back with you as key learning when you return. I was especially moved to hear the personal narratives of the speakers. It always reminds us that conflict is also ultimately very personal as well. We've all been touched by it. We know people who've been involved in conflict. We've lost friends, family to conflict. And that we can't remember the human person at the center of all of this. And I think with each one of you, as you get up and you tell your stories, you remind us of that human story. You remind us that change happens person to person. Perception shifts will happen person to person. And I want to, again, thank you for your leadership and courage for stepping out and making the statements and sharing as openly as you have. And when you do that, you make a change not just for yourself and not just for your community, but you also empower the voice of every other woman, all those who stand behind you and all those that stand in front of you, and all the difference that you will make. And this is a powerful community. It's a community that's growing. It's a community that's grown in 3 years from 300 members, sorry, excuse me, I added a 30 members to over 1,500. And this is a network taking on momentum, and I think it's responding very much to what we all feel is a need for human-to-human connectedness, the need to know that one is not alone, that there's a network that's engaged on these issues from which you can draw resource and strength. It's a network to which you contribute. You contribute your leadership. And as this virtual circle of engagement continues, we expand from the individual to the group and back again. And that's the power of this network. And one of the powers that I think that makes N-PEACE so extraordinary. I think one of the powerful things that I particularly value about this network is the way in which there are two things. One is the way that it's been developed through an organic process, wherein advocates and practitioners as N-PEACE members can contribute to both defining a common agenda and then to implementing it on the ground, and to sharing challenges and struggles along the way, and to finding inspiration and the energy to go back and take up the issues within your countries. The second, and I think highly valuable part of this network, is the shift in perception. And I think as we come here to celebrate, and we celebrate women and the huge changes that they've made at country level, we help that shift in perception of women as victims of conflict to women as active agents for peace and recovery. And clearly, peace and recovery won't happen in a sustainable way without women's engagement at all stages. The other thing that I welcome and very much appreciate about N-PEACE is the recognition that it's not just about women advancing women, it's about men who are champions for making space for women's views and voices to be heard throughout the process. And I think that's also very important to mention, and how we start to engage with men differently so that there's a different dialogue in advancing peace within the country and peace within the region. I would like to also say this is not the end. Thank heavens we have another day. It's a very rich experience, and tomorrow will be another very important opportunity to engage and deepen the dialogue and to build these linkages and build these networks more profoundly so that this becomes a real resource for you when you go back home. And when you're back home, that you can extend the knowledge that you've learned here to the other partners that you engage with at country level and encourage them to become part of the global, regional and global network as well. So with these few words, I don't want to stand between what's been a very long, a very rich day and a wonderful reception that is being planned. But I would like to take a moment to give thanks. I would like to extend thanks at the outset for the Institute of Inclusive Security, the training partner of the N-PEACE network, and Search for Common Ground, which has been a strong advocacy and outreach partner in the N-PEACE network. We'd also like to take this opportunity to really thank the extraordinary resource people that we've heard from today. In addition to the panel we just heard from, we heard from Ambassador Chowdhury, we've heard from Mosarat Kadim, we've heard from Rosina Usman and Irene Santiago, from Roman Bhattacharjee, and of course again, Veronica Pedroso, who's been with us throughout the whole day, with keeping it very dynamic and everyone on their seat, at the edge of their seat. I hope you are on your seats. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank very much and deeply the support from AllSafe, without which this would not have been possible. It has been critical for sustaining the momentum which has been here, which has come about through this initiative. So I would like to again extend my deepest thanks, congratulatory message to each and every one of you, and to use the opportunity of the reception to get to know you in a bit more informal way. Again, to salute the extraordinary accomplishments, your leadership, your commitment, your courage, and to look forward to the next days where we deepen this process and where you feed back to the organizers how we can make N-PEACE a more fruitful, a more profound, and more responsive network. And with those words, I would like to say one last thank you to the organizing team from UNDP for all the background work that you did to make this possible. Thank you very much.
Oo, sure. I-upload ko na lahat sa Facebook.
Talaga?
Lisa, Lisa.
Oh, ito na.
Lisa.
Oh, naman.
Pwede pang pumunta sa truck ng session. Hi, I should give you the elements so whenever you have a chance for the so whenever you
Bu, ada hadiah.
Oh iya, tadi sudah bicara.
Mana?
Tadi Mama sudah bilang tadi cerita, sudah aku mau minta maaf.
Ya. Oh, oke. Oh. Mama kenapa kuning? Ah, karena kornya. Oh, yang kuning ini kan? Bendera. Yang kuning berarti yang bendera saja. Yang bendera. Bendera. Oke, Mama. Saya contoh.
Ini Pak, Radika itu. Radika Pak. Video.
Oke, ini.
Video.
Yes, oke. Video, it's a video. Oke. Tidak masuk Mama. Sudah belum? Masih sibuk. Ya.
Oke, ma'am. One, two. What about?
sorry. Alright.
Nasabay ba tayo na flight? No, I had to move it.
Ah,
Um, Thursday. I've been here for 2 weeks. Sabay-sabay pa
wala.
tayo. Ano po yung pan? Para na maghapon. That was my original.